agreement between District 228 and Community College District 510 for the purpose of establishing an alternative education program at the Oak Forest campus. The Teaching and Learning Committee, along with the superintendent, are recommending the approval of this intergovernmental agreement.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Johnson, second by Mr. Canning. Any discussion? Nope. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Canning?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Campbell? Aye. Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
I actually do have a question. This is for 4 classrooms. Say we decide we want more.
There is a component of the agreement that allows us to enter into the negotiation with them. We want to extend this.
So we're going to present.
Aye.
10.3?
Item 10.3 is a biannual closed session minute review. It is my recommendation that all closed session minutes remain closed to the public, including the most recent minutes of February 2018, March 20, 2018, June 19, 2018. It is also my recommendation that audio recordings 18 months or older be disposed of, with the exception of any dates that may be held due to pending litigation.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Camworth, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion or questions? None? Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Canning?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
10.4?
Item 10.4 is the 2018-2019 South Suburban Conference dues for our athletics and activities. The cost is $10,250, which is the same as it was last year. Recommending full board approval.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Johnson, second by Mr. Canning. Any comments or questions? None? Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Canning?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
10.5?
Item 10.5 is the 2018-2019 Illinois Association of School Board dues for $11,160, which is an increase of $300 from the last school year.
Do you have a motion?
I move to approve the IASB Association of School Boards membership.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Jones, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion or questions?
The only problem I have with this expense is nothing with IASB. I think they put on some good programs. But it seems like we go here and get these trainings, like the equity event that he spoke of, that it seems like at a state level, they're really supporting and pushing. We go to these things, and as a district, we don't really look at implementing things that we're learning about.
So it's a responsibility on us to take that information, bring it back, utilize it.
I think we bring it, I know that when I attend the meetings, I do bring back the information. It's just, I think we need to try to take action on it and take the best benefit out of the services.
I'm a little bit confused because take action, this is school board training, right? Are you saying take action with anything that have to do with
We implement
Dr. Kendall making decisions for the district, or?
No, the board is responsible in and of itself. So when we have professional development, that we don't just say yay or nay. We just say, okay, you went to the event, but also to take a look at the benefits that we have.
What would you say that we should implement from these meetings that you've attended?
To take a look at what the other school districts are doing, because each time there's a report, I usually give a report. I know I give a report, and sometimes that report might need to be more in-depth kind of looked at. especially when we go to the ISD, let's just take that for instance, there's so much to share. When we go
When we
to the
go in
state.
November.
Right,
Conference.
especially like in November when we go to that conference, that is shared. And we need to, I think, share more, not just say we're running out of time or whatever, but just take a look at it, take time to take a look at it.
I don't even think it goes to that extent, honestly. I think we definitely have to bring it back, but the training opportunities that we've got, and I think when we're talking about implementing them is, if you're going to a training about finance, and you're hearing about how to, look at your budget, and the questions to ask your administration as you're looking at a budget or trying to balance your budget, you want to bring those back, and educate yourself as a board member on how to look out for the community, the questions to ask, the things to look for. Don't go to the training and come back and then just sit there, without asking the appropriate questions. So I think if we're going to take these trainings and we're going to utilize them, come prepared to meetings, be prepared to make a vote, be prepared to ask the questions, and utilize that information. I know that when I go, I try and attend a different class each year because there's no way you could even gather, from the conferences, just in a day, all the other opportunities they provide. So I try and attend a different course each year and then see, okay, what kind of questions can I ask at the next board meeting or in the next committee meeting?
So I'd like to make a comment on that. We, as a administrative team, take a long, big view of an organization, understand what the organization can tolerate, what's appropriate for the organization. We've committed to 38 goals for the organization for next school year. So what I would warn is if the board is thinking they're going to go to conferences, come back and expect an implementation on something that you sat through, I'm going to warn you right now, I'm going to push back on that. Okay, because we've already committed to goals for the upcoming school year, and we're not going to waver on what we committed to. So that's just a little side note there.
There's just no way that a district can, stop and go and stop and go. Like what you're saying, how I perceive it, Dr. Kendall, is you can't have 7 people go to the November conferences and then come back and want to implement 7 different changes for the district at that time. That just can't be. And I'm not saying that that's what you're saying, Leslie or Debbie. I'm just saying that looking at it, that's more for us and piggybacking what Christine said, finding out how to ask the right questions to our administration. That's fine and dandy, but as far as coming back with an idea and having the administration implement it right away when they've already been working on the goals, as Dr. Kendall said, that would be crazy.
Actually, if a lot of them, they teach you, they do have courses on superintendent board relationship. It does teach you how to ask what questions that you might have or might not have thought of, and the way to work together as a board along with the superintendent to encourage him to support those goals and agendas that we sit down and speak about. I'm not saying, let's use this instead of that. I'm not going against what is suggested, but this gives us an empowerment where we can work together and know how to ask the questions and know how to encourage our superintendent to and the staff to work with these programs that we have. And that way we come as informed board members instead of just like, okay, whatever you say, or not know what the programs are about. So this is for us, the board, but also it benefits our community. They have classes on community relationships and how to communicate with our public, and our roles as board members and what we actually can do. So there's great benefit in coming back to the board and stating, let's talk about this. Let's have discussion about this. Do you think that this will work along with the goals, the 30-something goals that we have set?
I just want to go back to, as I think IASB is offering us development opportunities as board members and as community members that we should in fact be taking advantage of. I think If you look at our policy, we should be continuing our training every year, be it online courses, conferences, find whatever works best for you in your schedule and continue that training and that development opportunity. IACP and the state conference, I think, is one of those opportunities that you can do that again to grow as a board member.
I just want to say that, we can get in step with the superintendent by taking those individual meetings that he offers us every year and on his goals. I personally believe that he's made some significant gains, in my opinion, that I would be willing to offer him a contract extension in October. So he has a lot of things going on that are really good. Look where we are right now. Look at this building. So he's doing some good things out there. We don't want to overrun too many of them and forcing stuff down his throat and stuff like that where he has to push back on it because now he's adding on to the 38 goals that he has. And the main thing is that he's trying to run a district and we need to be in there saying, well, this is what I think in between our sessions where I would like to be in what we talked about. But, I can see some good things.
Thank you, Mr. Trustee. Any other comments or discussion before we vote? All right.
Okay. Mrs. Jones? Aye. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Canning?
No.
Mrs. Campbell? Aye. Mrs. Wrestler?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Okay, 10.6, Dr. Kendall?
10.6 is the 2018-2019 annual SCOPE dues. SCOPE is an organization that advocates on behalf of school districts. The dues is $2,120, which is an increase from last year. I will point out that we are not going to join the Illinois High School District Association because they are kind of repetitive. I used to recommend that one, but when I went downstate, it was valuable, but they've changed their dates to the same time as our graduation, and I'd rather be celebrating with our students than being in Springfield, so we're not going to recommend that one. So just one this year in scope.
I make a motion that we join our membership with SCOPE, or continue our membership with SCOPE.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Moved by Ms. Jones, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? Nope.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Canning?
Aye.
Mrs. Campbell? Aye. Mrs. Wrestler?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
10.7, Dr. Goggins?
10.7 pertains to personnel. Under leaves, Robert Feliska. Under resignations, Cornelius Crosley, Paloma Salcedo, Emily Emily, Joseph Smukowitz, Lynette Campbell, Mike DeLuga, Maxwell Leeson, Mario Rivera, and Christina Lynn. Under employment, Tiffany Cheney Russell, Amanda O'Rourke, Anthony O'Day, Carly Kaplan, Lakeisha Stewart, Mario Coleman, Bridget Oberzu, Marisha Matthews, Camille Scott Offord, Mark Saul, Jordan Walker, Kathy Withdrawal, Rachel Montez Kearley, Sue Budnarski, Rhonda Crocco, Chase Luddington, Araceli Martinez, Roberto Sarli, Karina Molina, Jordan Walter, Andrew Curtis, Tom Element, Lauren Prunkle, Liz Collins, Mary Bochenik, Terry Stevens, Susan Inslee, Kimberly Bartos, Rita Smith, Victoria Strand, Tremaine Weaver, Tiara Clark, Zachary Loading, Marvin Shade, Tia Yamo, Takesha Babbitt Jackson, Georgia Eldee, Jody Riley, Mary Tarazuski, Maria Ramirez, Colleen Price, Gina Gare, Roberta Jones, Michelle Doherty, Neil Blacken, Tom Rolfs, Shannon Hitzman, Melissa Gunther, Chastity Neal, Stacy Kepke, Robert Pascarella, Sarah Danielson, Kirsten Quarles, Wayne Washington, LaSherry Resendez, Joseph Lopez, and Philip Artis. Under change in position, Georgia Drew. Location change, Jason Pearson and Carolyn Rogers. And under new position, additional general maintenance employee at Finley Park High School. The board's personnel committee was unable to meet on the 13th. However, Dr. Kendall has reviewed the certificated support staff items, and these are now being recommended to the full board for approval.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Mr. Johnson, second by Mrs. Camworth. Any discussion?
I just want to point out something here with one of the staff members here at Tinley. Stacy Kopke, is it? We honored her and her husband, and I just wanted this, I think it's fantastic now that we heard a lot about what she did and what she is doing, and now she's going to be an employee. I just think that's great. I don't know her in any way. I'm not related to her in any way. I just think it's great. Because that stood right out at me when I reviewed this, and it was like, you know what, we're getting people from the community involved, people that we've honored in the past, and they're stepping up and they're wanting to work in our district. I think it's great.
That's good to get the word different.
That's all.
Thank you. Any other comments? Let's go for a vote.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mr. Canning.
Aye.
Mrs. Jones.
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler.
Aye.
Ms. Stearns.
Aye.
All right, I need a motion to go into closed session. Need a motion to go into closed session?
So we said it was a closed session.
Moved by Ms. Camworth, second by Ms. Jones.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mrs. Jones.
Aye.
Mr. Canning.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler.
Aye.
Ms. Stearns.
Aye.